Hey there, so I'm talking to you about thyroid issues today. So with thyroid, there's two main things that are going on. You can either have your thyroid too high, which is called overactive, or hyperthyroid, or too low, which is underactive, hypothyroid, right? So usually it's more common for people to have hypo, but often you do see also might go hyper and then go towards hypo. That's more common when you've got autoimmune diseases starting to take place, like Hashimoto's and things like that. So let's start with hyper. Hyper is exactly what it sounds like. It's all everything's fast, you get hot, you have like kind of anxiety, maybe panic attacks or racing heart, high blood pressure. Maybe you have weight loss, you might feel hot and sweaty, all that sort of stuff. So it's all fast, hot, everything's go, 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 can't sleep, can't relax, that sort of thing. Shakes and tremors, that sort of thing. Low is the exact opposite, right? So you're cold, low, slow heartbeat, croaky voice, low energy, depressed, tired, lethargic, that sort of thing. So they are quite literally the opposite of each other. Another thing with thyroid to look out for is the ends of your eyebrows. How far do they go? If they're very short and you haven't plucked them out or anything like that, didn't grow up in the 80s like I did, in the 90s when everyone was plucking them out, you should have eyebrow hair that grows down the side a little bit. If it's naturally without plucking is coming to here or short, this is an indicator of thyroid problems, so it's something to think about. Have a look in the mirror and take a look. So you think you might have a thyroid problem, right? So you might have some of those symptoms. What is actually going on? So the most important thing to do is, first of all, you want to get it tested, right? So blood testing is actually very accurate for this. You can get TSH, T3 and T4. You can get your antibodies tested as well once you've had a look at those T3 and T4, and if they look like they're out, then you might want to get your antibodies done as well, which is checking for autoimmune. TSH stands for thyroid stimulating hormone. It is released from the pituitary gland, and it tells the thyroid to make more or less T4. Now T4 is the inactive form of thyroid hormone. It is then converted in the liver and in the thyroid and different parts of the body into T3, which is the active form. So this is what you're measuring when you're measuring these. You're measuring how much is my pituitary telling me to make? Is my pituitary doing its job properly, TSH? Then it's measuring, am I making enough T4, which is thyroid hormone but it's inactive? And then T3 is it being converted into T3 properly? So these three all give us a really strong indicator of what's going on in the body. So once you've got these readings, you know what's going on, high, low, whatever, then it's like, okay, so what do I do about this, right? So the thing that you're going to get offered if the doctor sees it is thyroxine or some sort of synthetic drug to try and fix this up. However, what I have seen in clinic, and I've been in clinic for 15 years working as a naturopath, is you can use vitamins and nutrients to activate these processes, right? So we know that to get your T4 production increased, we need to have certain nutrients, right? So iodine is a good example of that, right? To get it from T4 to T3, the conversion, you need certain nutrients as well, zinc and selenium. And then from there, the liver needs to be working well, right? So we can utilize the information that we have, which is the scientific process, which is the biochemistry of the body, to improve the function of your thyroid without having to utilize drugs. Kind of sounds quite cool. And this is how diet plays into health and wellness. So if you're eating a poor diet, not getting enough nutrients, not eating enough seafood, that sort of stuff, you're going to be low in iodine. Don't have enough salt in your diet, don't eat enough fish, don't eat enough seaweed, that sort of stuff. So traditionally we used to eat a lot of food from the sea. These days we don't tend to eat much food from the sea. So this is a common problem, and this whole thing around salt's bad for you. People start cutting out the salt, they start getting iodine deficiency. So you can see how the diet really impacts on these sorts of conditions. So what else do you need to know? So there is a component to do whenever you've got a health problem. there is always a gut component. And if you watched any of the like programs on Netflix or any of the like the health documentaries these days, everything's about the microbiome. And the microbiome is all about the bugs that are in your body, basically, and a lot of them live in the gut. And a lot of your health or your poor health is created basically to do with the balance of these bugs in your body. If they're in balance, good health. If they're out of balance, poor health. And it goes the same, it's the same for thyroid, right? So the thyroid is heavily impacted by inflammation, by a liver that's not working well, and by stress, yeah? And so if your gut flora is out of balance, then what happens is, first of all, the flora may be, like say for example, if you've got too much candida or yeast or something like that, it can actually impede the absorption of the nutrients that you need. Secondly, this then can create inflammation in the gut, which then causes what we call leaky gut, which then allows for chemicals, pathogens, toxins, those sorts of things, and even food particles actually to end up like immaturely in the blood, which they shouldn't be. This then creates an inflammatory process because the immune system's like, wait, what are you guys doing here? You're not meant to be here, because they're meant to be broken down into smaller particles. And then once it's in the blood like that, then there's this like inflammatory process that happens there. The liver then needs to clean this up, and then this causes just more stress for the whole body, right? So this involves cortisol in the immune system. And whenever you have high cortisol, then you have problems with converting your T4 inactive thyroid hormone into active thyroid hormone, right? So you can see how that's internal processes that are going on. Then you also have the external processes, so stress, the mortgage, the kids, you know, all the stuff, the relationships, the job, all the things that make you stressed. That stress also affects cortisol, same thing, affects your thyroid. So there's many factors to like at play here, but like diet and stress, the two biggies come into this hugely, right? The other thing is like when your adrenals get like exhausted, then the thyroid sort of has to do more work. It's kind of like the whole system starts to fall down. So what are you going to do? What's next? So obviously, like I said, food, diet, stress. The next thing is actually exercise. Exercise has been shown to help increase T3 and T4 production, believe it or not. So moving your body is very, very important. Sleep, rest, de-stressing, eating more seafood related things, foods from the sea will help increase the iodine, which will help you make more T4, that sort of thing. So if you think you want some more help, if you're like, okay, that sounds good, Hannah, still don't really know what I need to do, send me a message. I'd be happy to help you with your thyroid. There's lots of testing we can do, and yeah, it's a thing that we can track pretty well with blood tests, and reasonably cost effective as well. Some testing that I need to do is as a naturopath, like the hormone testing and the extensive gut testing, is quite expensive, but this is relatively low cost comparatively. So that's it. One other thing around supplementation, actually, one more thing, is just be very, very careful. These iodine and selenium and things, they are nutrients and they are vitamins, I mean they are minerals. People often have this thought, well, it's natural, I can just take as much as I want. Just be very careful with these. They actually become very toxic at the wrong level, so you can actually make yourself quite unwell. So just be very, very careful with that, and of course consult a practitioner. Okay, thank you.